The unexpected transmission. The Andromeda Deep Space Monitoring Station hummed with its usual quiet intensity, a sentinel of silence perched at the edge of human-explored space. Ethan Rodriguez leaned back in his worn computer chair, eyes glazed over from hours of scanning endless radio frequencies. The monotony of his night shift seemed unbreakable, until the moment everything changed. A sharp, unexpected pulse of energy rippled across his monitoring screens. Ethan straightened, his hand hovering over the communication console. This was no ordinary signal. The wavelength flickered in patterns that defied known communication protocols, dancing between mathematical precision and chaotic randomness. "Control, are you seeing this?" Ethan spoke into his headset, his voice a mix of excitement and apprehension. Static crackled before a response came through. "Negative, Rodriguez. Sensors are clear on our end." But Ethan knew what he was experiencing. The signal continued to pulse, now forming intricate geometric patterns that seemed to breathe with an almost living intelligence. He adjusted the station's sensitive receivers, his fingers moving with a practiced precision, born from years of tracking the unknown. The pattern began to resolve itself. What initially appeared as random energy started to take shape, a message or perhaps a key. Ethan's background in cryptography kicked into high gear. These weren't just random waves. They were a complex communication method unlike anything in human records. As the hours ticked by, Ethan worked feverishly. The signal wasn't attempting to communicate through traditional means. Instead, it seemed to be probing, testing, searching for something or someone. He captured every fragment, every nuanced shift in the transmission structure. By dawn, Ethan had compiled a preliminary analysis that would shake the foundations of human understanding. The signal wasn't just a message. It was an invitation, or perhaps a warning. Dr. Elena Martinez, the station's lead researcher, arrived for the morning shift to find Ethan surrounded by a maze of holographic displays, his eyes wild with a mixture of exhaustion and revelation. "I found something," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Something that changes everything we know about communication, about potential extraterrestrial intelligence." The signal continued its mysterious dance across the screens, a cosmic Morse code waiting to be deciphered. Little did Ethan know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything humanity believed about its place in the universe. As the first rays of sunlight began to peek through the station's reinforced windows, the alien transmission pulsed with an almost rhythmic anticipation, a heartbeat from the unknown, waiting to be understood. The Andromeda station had become ground zero for humanity's most profound encounter. Quantum entanglement. The International Research Facility stood as a testament to human innovation, a gleaming complex of glass and titanium nestled in the Swiss Alps. Dr. Nora Winters stared intently at the data streaming across her holographic displays, her mind racing faster than the quantum processors surrounding her. The transmission Ethan Rodriguez had discovered from the Andromeda Deep Space Monitoring Station had arrived on her desk 3 days ago, and it had consumed her every waking moment since. What had begun as an enigmatic signal was rapidly transforming into something far more complex, a communication method that defied every known principle of physics and information theory. Dr. Winters, her research assistant, Marcus Chen, interrupted her concentration. "The quantum correlation matrix is showing unprecedented patterns." Nora's eyes narrowed. The signal wasn't just a message. It was a living, evolving mathematical construct. Each time they attempted to decode it, the transmission seemed to adapt, creating new layers of complexity that pushed the boundaries of human comprehension. "Look here," she said, manipulating the holographic display. Intricate geometric patterns emerged, shifting and intertwining like digital DNA. These aren't random variations. There's an intelligence behind this, a deliberate, calculated approach to communication. The facility buzzed with controlled excitement. Teams of linguists, physicists, mathematicians, and communication experts worked around the clock, each bringing their unique expertise to unravel the cosmic puzzle. But something about the transmission felt different. It wasn't just a message to be decoded. It was a challenge, an invitation to understand something far beyond human experience. Dr. Roland Hoffman, the facility's senior theoretical physicist, approached Nora's workstation. His weathered face betrayed a mixture of excitement and concern. "The quantum entanglement readings are off the charts," he muttered. "These patterns suggest a communication method that exists simultaneously across multiple dimensional states." Nora nodded, her mind already racing ahead. The transmission seemed to be more than just a message. It was a probe, a complex system designed to test humanity's capacity for understanding. Each algorithmic layer they unraveled revealed another, more intricate beneath it. "It's like a living equation," she explained to her colleagues. "Every time we think we've understood a part of it, the entire structure shifts. It's responding to our attempts to decode it." As night fell over the research facility, Nora remained at her station. The holographic displays cast an ethereal blue glow across her workspace, the complex patterns of the alien transmission dancing before her eyes. She had long since lost track of time, her entire being focused on the cosmic puzzle before her. A breakthrough came unexpectedly. As she overlaid multiple decryption algorithms, a fragment of meaning began to emerge. It wasn't a traditional message, not words or images as humans understood them, but a complex mathematical representation of something vast and incomprehensible. "Marcus," she called out, her voice trembling with excitement. "Are you seeing this?" The transmission was beginning to reveal a warning, not of invasion or conflict, but of something far more profound. A cosmic event, a convergence, something that would fundamentally challenge humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. The quantum processors hummed with increasing intensity. The geometric patterns began to pulse with a rhythm that seemed almost alive, almost sentient. Nora realized they were no longer just decoding a message. They were engaging in a complex dialogue with an intelligence beyond human comprehension. "We're not just receiving the communication," she whispered to herself. "We're being tested." As dawn broke, casting long shadows across the Swiss mountains, Dr. Nora Winters knew that everything was about to change. The transmission was more than a message. It was a key to understanding something that would reshape humanity's entire perception of reality. The real challenge was just beginning. Bridges across the stars. The United Earth Diplomatic Corps headquarters buzzed with an unprecedented level of tension. Kai Freeman stood at the center of a holographic display, his fingers tracing the complex mathematical patterns that Dr. Nora Winters had transmitted from the International Research Facility. As the world's leading diplomatic translator specializing in potential extraterrestrial communication, he had been thrust into the most critical assignment of his career. "This isn't just a language," Kai explained to the assembled team of diplomats, linguists, and scientific advisors. "It's a multi-dimensional communication system that changes its fundamental structure with each attempt at interpretation." Ambassador Helena Rodriguez, no relation to Ethan from the Andromeda station, leaned forward, her sharp eyes studying the intricate holographic projections. "Can we respond?" she asked, her voice a mixture of caution and curiosity. Kai took a deep breath. Responding was precisely the challenge. The transmission they had received was unlike any form of communication humanity had ever encountered. It wasn't a simple message that could be translated word by word. Instead, it was a complex, evolving mathematical dialogue that seemed to test the very limits of human cognitive capabilities. "We're developing a response protocol," Kai explained. "But it's like trying to have a conversation using only advanced calculus and quantum mechanics. Each word is a complex mathematical equation that simultaneously represents multiple meanings and potential interpretations." The room fell silent. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just first contact. This was a fundamental challenge to everything humanity understood about communication, intelligence, and the nature of interaction across cosmic distances. Dr. Imani O'Keefe, the lead xenolinguistic expert, approached the holographic display. Her fingers moved delicately, manipulating the complex geometric patterns. "Look here," she said, highlighting a particularly intricate section of the transmission. These patterns suggest a form of communication that doesn't just convey information. They create a shared cognitive space. Kai nodded. The more they studied the transmission, the more it became clear that this was not a traditional message. It was a probe, a test, a way of measuring humanity's capacity for understanding. Each layer they decoded revealed another, more complex beneath it. Days turned into weeks. The diplomatic corps worked around the clock, bringing together the brightest minds from every field imaginable. Mathematicians worked alongside linguists. Quantum physicists collaborated with communication theorists, all united by the same goal: understanding the incomprehensible. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. George Martinez, a young programmer specializing in adaptive AI systems, noticed something unique about the transmission structure. It's not just changing in response to our attempts to decode it, he explained during a late-night briefing. It's actually learning from our attempts. Each of our decryption efforts is becoming part of the communication itself. The implications were mind-bending. They weren't just receiving a message. They were engaged in a complex, real-time cognitive exchange with an intelligence that operated on a completely different level of comprehension. Kai Freeman found himself at the center of this unprecedented effort. His background in linguistic theory and cross-cultural communication had prepared him for complex diplomatic challenges, but nothing could have prepared him for this. The transmission was challenging humanity's most fundamental understanding of communication, intelligence, and potentially consciousness itself. As weeks of intense study continued, a clearer picture began to emerge. The transmission wasn't just a message. It was an invitation, but an invitation to what remained the critical question. Was this a peaceful overture? A test? A warning? The global scientific community was divided. Some saw this as the most significant moment in human history, a true first contact that would redefine humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Others viewed it with deep suspicion, arguing that an intelligence capable of such complex communication could pose an existential threat. Kai understood both perspectives. The transmission was both beautiful and terrifying, a mathematical symphony that spoke of possibilities beyond human imagination. We're standing at the threshold of something unprecedented, he told Ambassador Rodriguez during a private briefing. This isn't just about receiving a message from another civilization. This is about understanding a fundamentally different form of intelligence. As global leaders debated their next move, the transmission continued its complex dance. Mathematical equations shifted and evolved, creating patterns that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Humanity was being challenged, invited, perhaps even tested. And nobody knew exactly what would happen next. The bridge across the stars was being built, equation by equation, possibility by possibility. Humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The Convergence Protocol. The interstellar defense vessel Horizon cut through the darkness of space, its sleek titanium hull gleaming under the distant starlight. Commander Maya Rice stood on the bridge, her posture rigid, eyes fixed on the holographic displays that surrounded her. The transmission they had been tracking for months had led them to the edge of known space, a region where the fabric of reality seemed to bend and twist in ways that defied conventional understanding. "Status report," she called out, her voice calm but charged with an underlying tension. Lieutenant Diego Ramirez, the ship's lead quantum navigation specialist, responded immediately. "Quantum stabilizers are holding at 92% efficiency. The spatial anomalies are becoming more pronounced the deeper we travel." The Horizon was humanity's most advanced vessel, a testament to decades of technological innovation and preparation. Built specifically to respond to the mysterious transmission that had captivated the world, it represented humanity's first true step into the unknown. Dr. Olivia Chen, the ship's lead xenoscientist, approached the command console. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling up complex mathematical projections that seemed to breathe and shift with a life of their own. "The transmission's origin point is close," she said, her voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. We're approaching what I can only describe as a dimensional confluence. Commander Reyes understood the weight of their mission. They weren't just exploring. They were potentially preventing a cosmic event that could reshape the very nature of human existence. The transmission they had been tracking was more than a message. It was a warning, a potential threat, or perhaps an opportunity beyond human comprehension. Quantum shielding at maximum, Lieutenant Ramirez announced. The ship's advanced technology was pushing the boundaries of human scientific understanding. Quantum entanglement drives, dimensional stabilization fields, adaptive neural interfaces. The Horizon was less a ship and more a mobile research station designed to survive the impossible. Dr. Chen's displays began to pulse with an increasingly complex pattern. The dimensional markers are aligning, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. We're approaching a point of convergence. The bridge crew worked with a precision born of years of training and preparation. Each member understood that they were potentially standing at the threshold of humanity's most significant moment. This wasn't just a mission of exploration. It was a mission of survival. Suddenly, the ship's quantum sensors erupted with activity. The holographic displays fractured into a kaleidoscope of mathematical patterns, shifting and reforming in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Commander Reyes gripped the command console, her knuckles white. "Stabilize," she commanded, though she knew the chaos unfolding before them was beyond traditional control. The space around the horizon began to warp. It wasn't a visual distortion. It was a fundamental restructuring of spatial reality. Mathematical equations seemed to dance outside the ship's quantum shields, creating patterns that suggested intelligence, purpose, communication. "We're being analyzed," Dr. Chen said, her scientific detachment barely masking her wonder. The transmission isn't just a message. It's a form of multi-dimensional assessment. Lieutenant Ramirez worked frantically at his console, dimensional drift increasing. "We're being pulled, guided, toward something." Commander Reyes understood the gravity of their situation. They were no longer in control. Whatever intelligence had been communicating through the mysterious transmission was now directly interacting with them, not as a threat, not as a conquest, but as a form of communication beyond human comprehension. The ship's neural interfaces began to pulse. Crew members experienced fleeting moments of something beyond perception, mathematical concepts that spoke of cosmic understanding, of connections that transcended physical limitations. "It's trying to communicate," Dr. Chen said, her voice filled with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound reverence. "Not through language, not through traditional means, but through a fundamental restructuring of our perceptual understanding." The convergence was happening. The transmission was no longer just a message. It was a bridge, a connection between humanity and something far beyond their current understanding. Commander Reyes closed her eyes. The mathematical patterns dancing around the ship seemed to pulse with a rhythm that suggested consciousness, intelligence, possibility. They were being invited, challenged, tested. "Maintain course," she said softly. "We're going through." The Horizon continued its journey, pushing through the dimensional confluence. Behind them, humanity waited, watched, hoped. The bridge across the stars was becoming real, equation by impossible equation, and nothing would ever be the same again. Harmony's horizon. The moment of convergence defied every known principle of human understanding. Ethan Rodriguez, who had first detected the transmission from the Andromeda Deep Space Monitoring Station, watched in awe from the Global Command Center. Dr. Nora Winters stood beside him, her hands moving across holographic interfaces that struggled to make sense of what was unfolding. Kai Freeman, the diplomatic translator who had spent months deciphering the complex communication, leaned forward with an intensity that bordered on reverence. Commander Maya Reyes's voice crackled through the communication systems, her words measured but laden with an emotion none of them could fully articulate. "We're experiencing a dimensional interface," she reported. "It's not an invasion. It's not a threat. It's a conversation." The horizon shimmered, not physically, but in a way that suggested its very existence was being rewritten. The ship wasn't traveling through space so much as being engaged in a cosmic dialogue. Mathematical equations danced around its quantum shields, transforming the vessel into a living bridge between human comprehension and something far more profound. Dr. Olivia Chen's scientific analysis struggled to capture the essence of what was happening. It's a form of communication that doesn't just transmit information, she explained to the gathered experts. It's a mutual exploration of consciousness. We're not being contacted, we're being understood. The transmission they had spent months decoding revealed itself as something far more complex than a simple message. It was a test, an invitation, a challenge to humanity's most fundamental understanding of intelligence, communication, and existence itself. We're experiencing a cognitive expansion, Kai Freeman observed, his linguistic expertise struggling to find words to describe the indescribable. Each moment of contact is rewriting our understanding of communication. The global scientific community watched in collective awe. This wasn't first contact in any traditional sense. It was a profound restructuring of human perception. The mysterious transmission that had begun with a simple signal at the Andromeda station was revealing itself to be a complex invitation to a broader understanding of the universe. Commander Rice's voice cut through the complex mathematical patterns. We're being shown something, she reported, not through images, not through language, but through a direct transfer of conceptual understanding. The crew of the Horizon experienced something beyond description. Moments of profound connection that transcended individual consciousness, mathematical concepts that spoke of connections spanning dimensions, though understanding that humanity was not alone, but also not separate. Dr. Nora Winters found herself explaining the inexplicable. It's not that they're sharing information, she told the gathered experts. They're allowing us to experience a different mode of perception. We're learning to see, to truly see, in a way we never understood before. The dimensional confluence began to stabilize, but stabilize was the wrong word. It was transforming, expanding, inviting humanity to step beyond its current limitations. Ethan Rodriguez, the technician who had first detected the transmission, understood something profound. This wasn't a moment of conquest or conflict. It was a moment of invitation, of growth, of potential. We're being asked to expand, he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of cosmic revelation, not to be conquered, not to be changed, but to understand. The Horizon continued its journey, but it was no longer just a ship. It had become a living bridge between human understanding and something far more vast. The transmission that had begun as a mysterious signal was revealing itself as a fundamental restructuring of human potential. Kai Freeman found the words that came closest to capturing the moment. We're not being invaded, he said. We're being understood. As the dimensional confluence reached its peak, humanity held its collective breath. The mathematical patterns that had guided them, challenged them, began to resolve into something that suggested not just intelligence, but a profound form of cosmic empathy. Commander Maya Rice's final transmission captured the essence of the moment. We are not alone, she reported, and we were never meant to be. The bridge across the stars was complete, but it was only the beginning. In the Global Command Center, in research facilities around the world, in the depths of space aboard the Horizon, humanity stood at the threshold of its greatest adventure. Not a journey of conquest, not a mission of exploration, a journey of understanding, a bridge across the infinite.